no-knock rated twice. I used to be a DoD contractor. I was a youth pastor in the 90s. I've disabled vet. I've done all the, I've done a lot. I was a DoD contractor for almost 18 years. High security design build. I was the guy who designed, built, trained the military on the exact systems under the Capitol building.
Wow.
So when you tell me that you can get into the classic flagpole, it negates 20 years of my life experience knowing that I built the systems in that building.
Wow.
And you don't touch the building unless they want you to.
Right.
So when they lie to you like that,
Here's your sign.
yeah.
Right.
When I tell people like that all the time, and it never gets picked up on the idea that we're not talking about the fact that, so you're telling me the Capitol building can be broken into with a classic flagpole.
Right. Something's not right there.
The math doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's
Right?
like,
Yeah.
okay, here's your sign, right?
Absolutely.
So I am thrilled. This is
Yeah.
Katy Huff with Katy Huff Ministries, and I am thrilled to have Mr. Jim Price from the Jim Price Show here at the Reawaken America Tour, that we are here setting ourselves free from all of the craziness in this country. And I want to make sure you see this message to you from Mr. Price. And that is going to be on Rumble, and it's going to be on YouTube, and it's going to be on Facebook, and it's going to be on every platform that you can think of, from Instagram to X and Facebook and all of them. So catch it here, and you're going to be totally motivated and inspired by Mr. Jim Price. So I am thrilled that you are here. Thank you for taking the time to share your heart, your passion, and even your show. So it's obviously the Jim Price Show.
TheJimPriceShow.com is the website, and you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, DLive, CloudHub, Twitch. You can get me on iTunes, Spotify, as well as Roku. I'm on 2 different channels there. And then I'm on the radio later in the evening, and also on regular broadcast television on the southeast coast, so around Georgia and Florida. And then pretty easy to get a hold of. I don't do YouTube anymore. I just kind of didn't like chasing that dragon, so it wasn't my thing. I had almost 90,000 followers back in 2019, and then they snatched it away from me, and then I did another one, and they immediately snatched it again. I said, all right, I'm done with you guys. Facebook, I had 10 million people on my page, and they took that in 2019 as well.
Gotta love those people.
Oh yeah, so I've been there. I was getting shadow banned. I didn't know what it was like. When I told people, I said, hey, I lost my page. They're like, what does that mean? Because we weren't talking about that then. There wasn't a thing about shadow banning or taking your page down. No one ever thought in the early 2000s when they got into Facebook that there would be a time where they could just take it away from you. We all just kind of felt it was like the public library. It's just kind of there, whether you want to use it or not, but it's available. And so for me, I was having this experience. I was telling people about it. I was on my radio show, and I was like, guys, listen, this is happening. There are people like, well, we know what? You don't know how to log into your account? I'm like, it's not it, guys. It's not it. The account doesn't exist. They just took it, and without notice. And that's really when I saw, for me, that step forward of where technology suddenly, as much as it was a gift to make us thrive in a lot of ways that we never thought of before, it was also had a dark side. Just like initially when the internet started, it was about corporations being able to communicate with each other freely without having to, use fax or letters or those things. But again, in the visual, well, now what is it, full of porn, right? So, and it's initially, Facebook was really great, but I get 5-6 friend requests from bots every day from Facebook, but yet they have the bots under control. But yet if I want to create an account or change my account, I got to go through verifications, and they got to mail me a letter with a code in it, all this other stuff. So what I'm trying to point out there is really the fallacy of what we've really began to rely on and accept as normal, because what they did, it was kind of like the carrot and the stick, or not, well, let's say the carrot and the stick, it's more of the mousetrap. Here's the cheese, but be careful how much you want that cheese, because there's always a consequence, right? Just like the government, you give them $1, they can't return 1 penny of it, because they've already consumed the whole thing, so there is no return on investment. But when you give yourself over to that media, there's always an ask, and there's nothing in life that's free. And yet we always think about this. Oh, I'm just going to sign up for Twitter. I'm going to sign up for CloudHub. I'm going to but there's the only place I know on the internet, and I know a lot of people love Rumble and Getter and all this other stuff, but CloudHub is the only one I've never been censored on.
That's awesome.
And I know that Rumble has some answers to me that need to be answered because they went to the stock market. So if you're about freedom and liberty and wanting to be a private corporation, it's not bending the wheel to a government entity or an outside entity, then why would you go public?
Right.
What did you trade out? Was that the 30 pieces of silver moment that you had to have? So it wasn't a big ask, but it was a little ask. It was a little this, a little that. And so my question is, I don't know if they're doing anything. They could really be hands off and they're just letting the algorithm run and they're just saying, hey guys, go enjoy it, and if you know how to work the algorithm, you'll be successful. But I have to ask the question, why was it a necessity that you think you had to go public? Because you had already established yourself as a site that was there. Why did you need to do that? And what does the stock market actually do for you? What benefits are there? So these are those questions you have to ask. So, anything that we're doing, we need to be that. We need to have faith and understanding and be able to be bold and let some things run. But after a while, you do have to always remember yourself that you have to ask the question, why is this free? Why is the government chemical from the coronavirus, the Mexican beer flu that was supposed to kill us all, why was that injection free? Why was the needle free? Why was the doctor visit free? Why was it? But then why do I have an email from Fort Riley, Kansas that shows a military soldier getting COVID-19 Moderna vaccines injected into his body in 2014? Okay, why do I have that email? Why do I know that's a part of a divorce decree and that was part of the medical records that were submitted because this person's become unstable because they've received injections that have caused a change in that person from the military? So when you're in the military, you're military property, right? So you don't have a thing. So I remember during basic training in '89 when I went in, there was an air gun that came up and they were just hitting this, and they hit me on my arm, and I moved up to the next person, they hit me on the arm, and then the third person, they glanced it, and the shot across the room. I mean, we're talking like 10, 12 feet. I don't know what was in there.
Wow.
And they said, well, we can't shoot you again because we don't know how much actually entered your body.
Oh my.
So the problem is like, okay, well then what was in that mix, right? What did you give me? We weren't authorized or allowed to know what they were putting into our bodies. But yet, what do we talk about all the time when we do these parades? My body, my choice, my body, my choice. So which way do you want it? How are we slicing the bread? Because if you keep slicing the bread irregularly, you just have croutons.
Right.
So it's actually no longer sliced bread, right? So sliced bread was the greatest thing, right? But at the same time, we realize that these people really just kind of keep moving the goalposts, and we wonder why we feel at unease.
Right.
We feel unease because there is nowhere to go, because everything changes sides just in the same conversation. So if I use your gender against you, or if I use that you're white, or that you're Latino, or whatever the case, so these are all tribal little things we do, and shame on us for being that, and that's how they separate us. So what's between our legs, what color our skin is, what we do in the bedroom is how they divide us evenly. So it keeps us always constantly fighting with each other with things that really don't matter.
Right.
And so that's, for me, has been this great learning lesson of, I had to go inside of myself and admit that what I saw of the world and the belief I had and how amazing I thought we were doing as a country and as a world and as a people, as just a human race, I thought we were doing so well, but I had to admit to ourselves, we're not. And that's an ego thing. So the ego says that, no, I'm not wrong, you're wrong, not me, it's you. And so that's deflection, redirection, but the ego is destructive and amazingly powerful at the same time. It can do amazing things, but yet we don't want to be wrong. But when you start to learn that you can be wrong and things are wrong, and you say, hey, this is what I'm seeing and this is where I didn't do it right, and so I've had to go back and work that out with myself, it's so healing and it's so freeing, and you become liberated by your own honesty about what you can or cannot be, or what you have or have not done. And in this world that we have now, we should be able to say, yes, we've got it wrong. 9/11, Vietnam, Pearl Harbor, I mean, where do you want me to stop the list, right? World War I, Russia lost 6 million men to the battlefield. That's not including the casualties of the citizens or those that died after the war. So my problem is that why do we keep going into wars that destroy some of the most amazing artifacts on the earth? So what are they hiding? And why do they want to kill us so bad? How powerful are we really if we just bother to do more for each other? How powerful are we that they have to sit there and systematically kill us at every single turn, from even trying to conceive, just trying to get to term, then just trying to get to school, then just trying to get out of school. I mean, the gauntlet to get to, I'm 53 just a couple weeks ago, and if I just to get to 53, we should be like amazed that we got to another year, that we haven't died of whatever it was that's killing us, right? So we got the government chemical, we got the chemtrails, do you know that 4 years ago, our government allowed for a corporation to, through pressure and heat, to liquefy bodies and then pump the liquid into the water systems? and then crush the bones up and use it for ash. But the 1.5 million bodies go unclaimed every year, and this company liquefies the body and pumps them into your water system. So are you sure you're not a cannibal?
Wow.
But then we have USDA and FDA reports coming out about other DNA in beef in processing plants, and it's not animal DNA. So my problem is why are they wanting us to consume each other? Why are they wanting to kill us? Well, that's because you're so powerful, and if they can contaminate you and destroy you, then they win. But if you think this is not a battle, then you're not living life. The battle is every day, it's right in front of us. And so all the things I'm talking about sounds like it's like a lot of things at once, but it's all about the fact that we are amazing. You're amazing, your husband's amazing, I'm working on it. So this is a process, right? But I had to go back and recalculate everything I thought I was doing, what I thought I was doing. But when I tell you that our life is a lot of fiction, twice a year the government changes time and nobody complains. They manipulate time twice a year, every single year. Every 4 years they manipulate time again and give you just an extra day in the year. Again, if we went back to a 13-month calendar, and a 28-day cycle, women's synchronization, the emotions, the moon, the tides, all these things start coming back into harmony. What? But wait, harmony, no, they want discord. They want you to every month have a different number of days in the month because it keeps you off balance. It's not always the same. Right, so you're not at ease, you're at dis-ease, right? So we know that's a thing. So there's all these things that we know that the government's doing. So let's go to a solution, Jim. You've scared the crap out of me. I'm done. Like I got to go, take a break from this. But what it is that all you have to do is understand that when you start to be selfless in your life, right? You start to look out for others and do more for the world around you. You don't have to worry about that selfish, self-centered sin nature that is the ego-driven, right? Me, I. Well, when you do more for the world around you, it becomes a better place. So I say on my show, at the end of every show, I do this. The 10% you do for your neighbor, community, city, county, state, the federal government, the more you do for them, the less they can do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. The world will be a far better place. So imagine if 8 billion people just today decided, you know what, I heard that Jim Price guy say something, and when their language and their country and their neighborhood and their house in that moment, they just do 10% more for the world around them. What would the world be in that moment? And what would it be and the wave of that effect, the butterfly effect of things, how would that be? So we have to think of our world in different ways, not so much in the, I'm just trying to get by, but be brave and have faith that if I do something for you without expectations in return, I will have a more amazing life, but your life is already amazing. And it's that simple. So selfishness causes us to sin, selfishness tells us to go inside, and we don't have to be that.
Well, and I always say that ego is edging God out.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. There is no room. No, because it's you.
Yeah.
You're in you. It's me. I've got it. I got it. No, God, thanks. No, you get those miracles? No, I'm good. I got to do this, right?
Exactly.
So imagine if you didn't expect anything in return and you lived by faith and said, God, I'm looking for your blessing. I'm looking for your blessing. Well, no, I'm not looking for your blessing. You know what? I'm going to do more for you. And I'm going to walk on. And as I watch the green light come up as I drive through that intersection, as I watch the cars just kind of move out and I'm able to just maintain my cruise control and I just fly right through get to my destination and everything's on time and I walk in and the door's ready and I open up and everything. Those are all miracles. I don't need mountains to be moved. I just know that my life is a better place just because I do more for others. And it's so simple for us, but we get so tied up in the, oh, what about this? Oh, I don't want them to screw me over. Like, well, you know what? If I give to you and I live through faith and I walk through doors that God opens for me, then how can I be wrong? See, I'm not worried about the return because I can't outgive God. And I can't outget God. I go out and get my own, but I can't outgive. Like, I can't go get what God can give to me. So it's that simple. So a lot of this is that, yeah, there's a lot of things out there, but if we work on us, we find a better place for the world around us, and suddenly we don't have to worry about so much what the future lies, right? Because in these little moments of miracles that we have, yeah, the currency may go to crap tomorrow because it's January 9th and it's decoupling from the petrodollar, and Monday morning the stock market crashes and we all have no value of money, but we still have each other, we still have God, we still have our breath, because we draw our breath from the big G God on our throne. We don't go to the small G government and say, hey, can I have some breath today? Because if you're doing that, you've got the wrong God on the throne, right? You've got the wrong G sitting there. So think about that and disconnecting yourself in a way that you can actually just be free of those things and live life with faith. Because faith is actually a lot easier. I don't have to be wrong if I live by faith. If I'm making my own choices and making my own way, I have to adapt to the things I've done wrong. But if I'm living by faith to God's gifts that He's given to me, I don't have to go back and go, well, God, thanks for that gift, but I'm going to have to work through that. That kind of sucked. No, He's going to give those gifts to me. I'm going to walk through those doors because He gave them to me, and I don't have to know what's on the other side because He wants me to go through the 2 no-knock raids I went through in 2018 and 2019. He wants me to go through the fact that I ended up going into a plea deal that they changed it from a misdemeanor to a felony. I went through those things thinking, what are you doing to me? Why am I going through this? What does my sin list look like? In all reality, it was just that said, you know what? You don't need all those other things. You just need your voice. Your voice is what I want to use to help other people see that there's a better way. And so I don't have to go out and I don't have to build skyscrapers, and I don't have to build great big hangars, and I don't have to build high security command centers for the Department of Defense like I used to. I can just be Jim Price, and I get to share stories with people like at this event and be a part of their story, and they come back and say, you know what, I did that and it worked, and now we're doing this, and they take that journey themselves. They peel their own onion, right? So anyway, I didn't mean to run on that, but there's a lot about that. It's personal to me because I've lived it, right? And I had a very, very high level job that was a DoD contractor that made a lot of money. My security clearances were amazing. I could walk into any nuclear installation, anything I wanted. I was that guy because I had a lot of these skills, but I didn't need that. I needed to learn that living by faith is a better way to live, and I don't have to worry about getting mine or doing this or negotiating this contract. It's just right there. Life is so much better when you let God in and allow Him to bless you the way He wants to. And then the other thing too, what I want to expand on is God-given talents. God gave you a talent, right? And it may be juggling, it may be yo-yos, it may be unicycles, it may be airplanes, or whatever it is. But if you don't ever bother to pursue those, then really, are you living in the will of God? Are you living in your will, saying it's God's will? So who are you lying to? Yourself? So you're lying to both of you. So God, hey, I got this, it's me. And He's like, yeah, sure you do. So these are those little things, and we have to be mindful of the world around us that there is always evil looking at us.
Oh, yeah.
And Satan could not have offered Jesus all of the kingdoms of the earth if He didn't own them. Because remember, Satan walks in his domain, which is this earth. And if we sit around and go, well, the earth is so beautiful and so amazing, and but what if it wasn't Satan's domain? What if it wasn't our adversary's domain? And when we think of the adversary in the Bible, it's the evil, the opposite of us. But if we're evil, then it's good against us, right? So if we're good, that's the evil against us. But know that the battle is always real. Satan doesn't take my birthday off. Doesn't say, hey, Jim, happy birthday, 53rd, buddy. I'm going to get you tomorrow. He's like, hey, it's your birthday. I'm going to get you today, right? So when we think of these things, we have to be mindful that we keep our heart in the right place.
Right.
So I say on the show a lot, I say, your future is a reflection of your heart now. Make sure your heart's in the right place every single day, being better than the day before. And so if you're working at saying, I was good yesterday, but I need to be better. So that means I'm wrong. It means I have to admit that I have more to climb, more road to go. So if I admit that I have to be better every day, then I get to be better every day, knowing that I was wrong, that yesterday wasn't as good as I can be, because today's going to be better, and every day I'm going to work harder and harder. And that better isn't about the fact that I can jump 2 feet today, and tomorrow I can jump 3 feet, and tomorrow I can jump 4. No, it's about the fact that today I don't worry about trying to get anger or getting mine or getting my pound of flesh or those things. I start learning that, everything happens for a reason. I'm doing this interview with you because it's necessary, because this is our time together. This is what we're doing. So everything came to this moment. If I would have rejected you and said, no, not now, well, then I would have been able to be a part of this moment. Right? And so we always got to take those opportunities and be more of a yes man, meaning taking those opportunities. When someone asks you, say, yeah, what do you want me to do? Well, I haven't even told you. Oh, that's all right, I'll help you. And a lot of times people just really need someone to be there. They don't need your $1 million. They don't need your truck or your car or an airplane. A lot of times they just need you just to kind of stand there and like, oh, cool, this is kind of cool. You want me? Oh, you got it? All right. Hey, man, that was really cool how you tied that. I never done that before. So you're learning something from them as they're going through an experience that they wanted you to be a part of. You didn't have to do anything. You just needed to be there for them. So the intersection of each other is amazing. And what did the Mexican beer flu teach us, the coronavirus? 6 feet apart.
Oh, yeah.
Don't come together.
Isolation.
Physicists have showed us that we have a 3-foot energy field around us, that when I have 3 feet in front of me and you have 3 feet in front of you, we don't combine energy. But the closer we are, in the Bible it says, Jesus says, I will, 2 or more together, I will come and be with you. I will be there. I will sup with you. Well, imagine that the government knew that even psychologically at 6 feet apart, you will distrust somebody you know because you're not actually within 6 feet combining energy to communicate with each other. So you have to draw together and be combined. So why is it when we go into an auditorium we feel like yeah, and we're cheering like whoa, it's great, woo! Because we're all combining our energy in that moment to see them. But when we think about what they told us to stay away from each other, it's because they didn't want us to be amazing. They didn't want us talking about what the remedies were. They didn't want to talk us about the fear, and then we could have worked through each other. What was that? We could have come together. So if they're telling us to stay apart, what should we do? Run to each other, be to each other, be there, talk to each other, reach out and do the how are you? Do the simple things that create that energy exchange so that we understand each other better. And then we use this verbal communication, but there's so many. I would say only 5 to 10% of our communication is verbal. Everything else is physical. Everything else is this energy that we exchange with each other. And the words are necessary. The time and the space are even more. So being there in those moments. So why does a husband and wife sleep in the same bed together? Is because they come back together at the end of the day to bind energies and to re-energize each other and bring each other that power. And that's simple. You didn't have to go build a house to do that. You could do that in a tent, you could do it on a bench, you could do it on a boat, you could do it wherever you want. You just come together. It's that simple. So why do elderly people get so excited when the children come in? Because that's legacy. Why do they get so excited to see you? Because it's energy, because they do feel better. And why do they seem to see, you spend a couple hours with grandma and she's just up walking around, well, let me get you some cookies. And she's like you're all of a sudden like, what are you doing? Like a minute ago you could barely walk. Why? Because your energy's lifted. You bring her that, and it makes her want to be more because you now are sharing energy with her. It's not about grandma's old and she doesn't know what she's talking about. She needs more personal experience with you and make her amazing.
Well, relationships are where it's at.
Oh, yeah.
Heart to heart. And so we love God and we love people.
Yeah.
And then people will be able to pick that up, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Because they can sense, we all can sense, God gave us all our senses, that
Yeah.
we can realize when someone's hurting. And it's so great that you are so, obviously your timeline and where you are and where you've been and what you've done and just who you are today is such a blessing for people to come to know that you've been there, done that, and you're in a different place now. And that's what we're all trying to do, obviously, is become more for God's kingdom and for each other. And you're absolutely right. I mean, that isolation, the 6-foot rule and all of that, isolating the churches closing down, it was obviously very intentional to tear us apart.
I have a problem with the churches that shut down, and I will go to the wall, and that's an old wall ball from when we were younger. Girls didn't play that game, boys did. It was a violent game that we picked on each other with. But anyway, I would go to the wall on the idea that I will condemn any pastor who closed his doors. And I don't care if you say, well, I was worried about the health of people. You lived in fear because God gave you a place to worship, and you are expected to do what you're supposed to do, and then you shut down and you gave in. But also, let me give you one more thing, pastors and those people that are out there thinking the churches need this. If you are taking your tax exemption, then you are living by the government. And so who is your G on your throne? Is it the small G government that gives you that tax break so you don't have to pay taxes? Or is it the big G God that says you don't have to worry about it, I will take care of the taxes and give you more? So imagine that. Again, this is faith, right? But we are living behind these little walls of fear. So are we being what we should be when we go to the government too and say, well, I don't want to pay taxes. If I fill out this form, will you let me not pay taxes? Oh, please, would you approve me? Would I please not have to pay taxes? The largest charity organization on earth is the NFL. And it's known as an entertainment company. But yet churches put themselves in the same boat as that? The same boat as the Red Cross, the same boat as all these other agencies. So Hillary Clinton has a charity organization that has tax exemption. So churches, are you so special? So these are the things we have to really ask ourselves genuine questions on. Why do we depend on other things other than our God-given creator? So God gave us, He's given us all these things. So God gave us all these rights, gave us all this breath, gave us all this energy to be amazing. But then we go ask the government for permission. So we should shame on that. Shame on us. We should always be looking out there.
Crazy.
So anyway, that's one of the things I want to challenge anybody who has that. tax exemption, who's looking for those things. Again, you're asking the government for permission not to pay taxes. How about you just say, God, I have taxes to pay, and He'll like, oh, I got it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't worry about me. You just do what you're supposed to do. You do your part.
Well, ask, seek, and knock, and He's there.
Yeah, it's that simple. So living by faith and walking through the doors He opens, why would you be wrong? So you think God's going to open a door for you that is wrong?
It's bad.
Yeah.
Right?
But maybe there's bad things that you think are bad.
Right.
But who you become after that is going to be amazing. Like I wasn't a public speaking guy. I wasn't the guy on radio. I wasn't doing all these things. I was just a leader who was building $400 million projects for the Department of Defense I was doing multiples of those at the exact same time. We're talking billions of dollars of value in contracts at the same time, and I was running these all, and I was very amazing at it. But yet today, I don't probably make 1% of what I used to make. But yet I'm happier, and I'm better than I've ever been. And I thought back then, when I kind of broke away from things, I started realizing, well, maybe I have another task. I thought, well, yeah, look at me, I'm all good. And I am here today, on this day, will tell you that I am not even barely begun the journey of Jim Price to see where I can be amazing and who I can be in the future. I'm still working on those things. I'm still working on the self-doubt and the negativities, things that the evil in the world, the foe against us. Because if you go back to the original word of what we really think, we always say Satan or the devil or whatever, it's the opposite of us. So if you're a good person, it would be the opposite of you. If you're a bad person, it's the opposite of you. So evil people don't like good.
Right.
Right? And so good people don't like evil. But you got to kind of figure out, if you're not over the target, you're not going to get shot at. If you're not out there trying, nobody's going to pull at you. So if you're sitting around life and you're not having tragedies and you're not having challenges and you're not, facing gravity just to get out of the chair, then what are you doing? Are you actually on the side of where you should be? Are you in some neutral place, or are you just on the evil side and not realize it?
You got to get off the sidelines and get on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do these women's retreats, Jim, and it's all about what is your legacy going to be? What's your fingerprint on this earth going to be when you're done doing what hopefully you were called to do?
Right.
God has a plan for us.
Right.
It's exceedingly, and He'll do exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ever imagine. So we need to get out of our own way.
That's an action word. Exceed. He will exceed. No, exceedingly.
Yeah.
So exceedingly. That's like there's two things on the end of the word exceed, right?
Right.
But we're over going, well, it's not enough. There's been blessings that have been given to me that I didn't ask for, but they were so timely.
Right.
And there have been moments like there's some things that I went through that on Wednesday before I was leaving to come here, there were some things I needed to take care of, and I said, you know what, it's going to be there on time, and everything's going to work out right, and it has been. And like flying here, I use a voucher to do standby. Well, I flew out of Wichita, plenty of seats, got to Dallas, and on the thing it said there was plenty of seats from Dallas to Detroit. So I was like, cool, man, it's gonna be sliding right through. And I stood there as they're holding the door just before they close it, and I don't have a seat on the plane. And so the two ladies that were standing there and me, there was three of us, the lady says, well, we're together, let him go. Because we would rather travel together. And so in that moment, she gave that gift to me, and I said, man, thank you so much for that. It was awesome. And I was the last person to get on the plane, but I got here when I needed to be here.
Praise God.
And it all worked out. But if I would have been over there, hey, no, I'm demanding, right? But the gift was that I got the voucher that allows me to travel a little bit cheaper, but also it comes in time when it needs to be there. And so it's not always easy. Why do we think it's so,
Well, it wasn't easy for Jesus.
No. So there's a lot of that out there. So we have to be mindful that miracles and gifts are that green light. Or that the fact that you stopped at the red light because it stopped you from being somewhere later where there would have been an accident. So that 30 seconds you waited may have been enough to allow the traffic to clear so you could just sail on through and not be a part of an accident that could have happened if you were there. So those little math things that we always forget about the what if could have been, right? We don't think about the things that didn't happen to us. We think about the things that did happen. Well, I didn't die. I didn't get in a car accident. I didn't break an arm. I didn't. So those are all those things that didn't, right? But nobody takes account for those.
I know. It's crazy. It's a great reminder to pause. I always do my 3 P's. You pray, you pause, and peace is the guardrails. So if you don't have peace, you don't keep moving. You just pause until you have that peace.
Yeah.
And of course, God's timing is everything. Like I said, I would say He's never early. He always shows up at the 11th hour, 59 minute, 59 second. But He shows
up on time.
That's right.
Not on your time.
on his time.
So if you think you got the list and all worked out in the schedule, don't lie to yourself.
Exactly.
Just stop lying to yourself. Just understand that things work out. And again, I'm not living in a Taj Mahal. I live in a very simple house. I have chickens. I got dogs. I got I got a turkey that lives at my house and comes and goes when it wants. But I enjoy walking around my yard and watching what my yard has become. Not the manicured golf course we used to have, where I was always making sure everything was all OCD and it looks just right and got the lines in the yard. And now I'm letting the sunflowers come up where they want to, and I'm letting things grow where they need to, and I'm watching my yard grow into things I've never seen before, and mushrooms are coming up, which tells me my microbiome, my soil is amazing. Why? Because I let go of all that other stuff. And my life is actually cheaper because I don't pay for all that stuff that I used to do with all the chemicals and all the junk and all that. So I get to live a life in a better way only because I let go of those things. But I had to learn that money, those zeros I was putting in the bank account, so the first number really doesn't matter. It's how many zeros you got behind, right? Well, yeah, those zeros were amazing, but what was my life?
Yeah.
What did I have? And now I have a story to tell you that I've been to the Lion's Den. I've had the no-knock raids. I've had the news articles written about me. I've had the news reporters at my door calling me a drug dealer, calling me things I've never been or never done. And I had the big boy haircut. I had the clean cut, I had this short beard. I had all that stuff. But I will point out to you that what I learned through my journey of health, spirit, and the spiritual growth I've been through is that every hair in your body has a nerve connected to it. And every hair has a muscle that has a nerve connected to it. So 2 nerves to every hair in your body, how important is your hair? So why would you cut it? But in Samson, when his moment was, is his hair was cut and they plucked his eyes out, and then as his hair grew back and he was able to have that connection back to his source, he was able to see that he could find the weakest part of the building and kill more Pharisees in that one moment that he had in his entire life, only because he created that connection back. So why do we fit into these little things where we know the military never had haircut standards until we started putting mustard gas into the war fields of World War I? So you look at the old generals with the long curly hair and the big beards, that's because we understood what that really meant. Men were revered by their hair. Like, oh, look at the length of that man's hair. He has strength, he has virility, he's a man. But now we look at a man with a cue ball head. You got good hair, man, don't give it up. But we see these guys with cue ball head, oh, look how sexy that bald man is. But in reality, if we would have back 100 years ago, we would have felt bad for him. We would not have engaged with him in the way that we saw a long-haired man, knowing that he had his power and his strength and his connection to source. So this, again, we have to think of ourselves differently than just this programming that we've all grown up in. And I will tell you, break the programming, folks, and this is how you do it. Tomorrow, today, however you want to do it, pick up your toothbrush with the opposite hand and brush your teeth with the opposite hand. Put your socks on, put your sock and shoe on one foot, put both, however you do it opposite. Leave your belt off until you're right before you leave the house. Do something different. Put your shirt on, walk around the house without your pants on. Break away from the programming that you do daily. And then you'll see how much programming you really do live in. And break those patterns to say that I live my life purposely, and I live in my life through the strength of God, not through the programming of the government. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. All I can say is wow.
Oh, this is just
it's been amazing.
This is just the simple stuff. We
oh
can
my
do some
gosh.
more of this.
Yeah. It's like what a breath of fresh air, and what a blessing.
Thank you.
Just your heart to speak truth in life into people, and God is using you in such a beautiful way.
Thank you.
And I'm so grateful that I
thank you for having me.
Jimmy
awesome.
Price, I need to talk to you because I've been watching you for the long time on podcast.
Oh yeah.
And now I'm like yesterday going, who is that guy? And then oh my gosh, it's Jim Price. I need to go grab that guy and get him here. So I'm so grateful.
No.
You are here.
And
what a blessing.
When you said grateful, you went like this.
Yes.
So I want you guys to think about this for just a second. Is that if you were to go out into the sun, and I do sun gazing in the first 2 hours of the day or the last 2 hours of the day, which is 2 hands. Put your hand on the horizon. You put your hand like this, and that's 2 hours. And if the sun is in that space as you hold it up to look at it, you can stare at the sun, and you can actually recalibrate the color wheel in your eyes. And you can also recalibrate the circadian clock in your body to allow you to sleep more soundly, because you're matching yourself with what the Earth is doing, not the irregular calendar they put you on, right? So as I stand there, what I do is my hands are down by my side, and I'm just staring at and I only do this, I want to do it more often, but I don't always have the opportunity, but when I can, I do, and I take that moment. But I can hold my hand, and I can feel the sun, not my fingertips, where I'm most sensitive. I feel everything this way. I don't touch things with my palm, right? But as I stand there and I'm staring at the sun, and I watch the sun go dark, and I watch all the colors around it become vibrant, and there's no longer that white dot that's blurring out my vision, and I literally can see the sun for the roundness that it is, and I watch all the colors come in. I can feel the sun warming the center of my hand right here. And when you said, you went like this, and you were like this, you said, I'm so grateful. Remember, you watch people pledge allegiance like this. Well, that's not their heart, that's their lung. Your heart is here. It's right here. So think about how powerful this is, and it can feel the sun. Well, imagine what your heart is, right? That's who you are. And why do people fall into deep depression and despair after their heart has been opened? Because it's a special vessel. And so think about when you put your hand over your heart and you give that intention, say, you know what, that is beautiful. It's so much grace. Thank you. The intention behind that is amazing. There's a connection here. This is something you're telling the world, but you're telling yourself, and you're verifying it. So be that every day. Understand that when you put your hand on your heart and you say, I pledge allegiance to the flag, understand you're giving intention to that. It isn't about the words and definitions, about what your heart is saying about it. And so you spread that around, and to understand your intentions and your meanings of words really have an impact, and they have resonance. So the butterfly effect of a single wing flap of a butterfly can create a hurricane in the world. So imagine what your intention of just truly believing, your intention, just take that moment, stop, and be different. Yeah. So it's that easy. So make those connections with yourself. You're not so unconnected. You're not so, I'm just this or I'm that. No, you are a living, breathing machine that your body has the ability to heal itself and do things that you've never understood. I am in a healing journey with my body, and I have been on it for 10 years, and I am nowhere where I need to be. 10 years of getting my minerals right. I don't take vitamins, I only take minerals. I stay on this mineral path. It's been amazing. I drink clean water, and I drink out of copper only, and all these things. I hate these plastic bottles we have here, but at home I have my copper vessel, and I do all this amazing stuff with water, create structured water. So imagine everything I'm putting into me is food, is nutrients, right? It's who I am. So if I put clean water in, then I am clean. I put good food in, I am. If I have good intentions, I have good intentions. And just everything connects. And if you think you're so disconnected, talk to somebody.
Right.
Talk to me. You get a hold of me, you email me, I will respond to you. I will give you my phone number. I will be a part of whatever it is. You can talk to me about anything. You say, well, hey, I'm dealing with this or I'm dealing with that. We'll walk through the spiritual. We'll walk through the physical. We'll walk through the health. We'll walk through the emotional. We'll do those things because why? Maybe I don't have the perfect answer, but I'm going to get you to an answer somehow because we're in this together. So.
What a blessing. Oh my gosh. Again, I am so grateful.
No, this is, I'm grateful for being here. This has been amazing to let me talk.
Well, obviously you can hear his heart, you see him, watch him, follow him. You can learn so much from him, and we can just only hope and pray that we all become a better us, so we can serve others.
I don't want you to change. I want you to be the best you are. I don't want you to do anything different than being you, being an amazing you. Don't be Jim Price. This is a lot of work over here. So you do you, but and then I'm going to be me. And so if you want help and you want to be a part of something, reach out and we'll do this together.
Amen. God bless. Well, thank you for checking out Katy Huff Ministries and Setting Yourself Free. Podcast here that hopefully you have learned something that you're going to make a step forward for you to be all that you were created to be and walk out the calling on your life. So thank you very much, Mr. Jim Price.
Thank you.
From the Jim Price Show.
I'm honored. I am so honored. So thank you.
God bless you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Katy Huff with Katy Huff Ministries, and this is Bella Jean, and we're coming to you today to talk to you about setting yourself free by having first a great night's sleep. How's that going to happen? By using My Pillow. My Pillow has incredible products. Bella Jean even has her own dog bed and loves it. She sleeps well at night, so do we. Because we also have the topper, we have the pillows, we've used the sheets, we have the towels, and we even have the slippers. So we are a family that loves My Pillow as much as my Bella Jean, and I'm hoping that your dog will love it as much as ours, and that you'll go to mypillow.com/unmasked. Again, that's mypillow.com/unmasked, and you'll get incredible discounts for your family to be setting themselves free to having a great night's sleep and have an amazing holiday season with My Pillow products. Thank you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Katy Huff with Katy Huff Ministries, and I'm coming to talk to you today about setting yourself free. And what that means is it begins with taking control of your finances. So I was unfortunately introduced to a number of different financial planners that really didn't put me before their profit. And I'm glad to say that Kirk Elliott, PhD, their philosophy is people over profits. They don't rush you. They have a holistic approach. They took my SEP, they invested it into gold and silver, which obviously is diversifying. It may be for you, it may not, but I will tell you this, KirkElliottPhD.com/unmasked, they will go beyond making you comfortable and knowing where your money's going. And so I would just say, take control of your finances. Go to KirkElliottPhD/unmasked for a discount and great advice and peace of mind that you'll have.